Is copyright still an issue if something's not available anywhere? Hi, everyone. Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Here's a question I got some time ago. I want to be able to copy some old VHS tapes to DVD via my PC. Your site answers all the questions except one, as 99% of my VHS tapes have copyright restrictions. Is there a device I can obtain that will allow me to copy these tapes? As most of these movies are now out of production and unobtainable, I do not see copyright as an issue. So, before I get any further, I need to point out I'm not a lawyer. I never have been, don't want to be, don't plan on becoming one. What that means, of course, is that this is not legal advice. Use it at your own risk. No animals were harmed. Some objects may appear smaller. Your mileage may vary, and so on and so on. All that out of the way, I definitely have an opinion, which I believe to be relatively accurate. The bottom line is copyright is still most definitely an issue. A copyright says that the person or the entity who creates an original work has the right to say what can and cannot be done with it. They control or own the right to copy. Pretty simple. Copyright law codifies that. Those rights are protected by international law, and violating those rights, say by making copies of someone's work without their permission, is illegal. Also, pretty simple. Now, sometimes copyright can seem pretty silly. For example, as I understand it, if I own a DVD of a movie, it's illegal for me to make a backup copy of that movie to protect my investment in the DVD, or for me to copy that movie to my laptop's hard disk as a convenience to be able to watch it elsewhere. Now, it's important to realize that copyright law did not make that rule. The owners of the media did. It's the law that allows them to choose to do so. Whoever owns the copyright on a particular original work decides what you're allowed to do. In the case of my DVD, they said, no copies of any kind for any reason, period. Seems silly, right? But it is what it is. It is their right to assert that restriction on the content they've produced. Now, let's clear up something from the original question. Availability and copyright are completely unrelated. Just because there may not be a legal way to get a copy of something does not magically remove copyright or copyright restrictions. Copying copyrighted material without permission is illegal, whether or not it is otherwise available. If there's no legal way to get a copy, then you can't get or make a copy without breaking the law. Period. There's no rule that says things must always be available. Some things just aren't. If I choose to produce something in limited quantity, and then I stop making it available, that's my right. In fact, it might even be my intent. If the copyright owner doesn't have the resources or the inclination to make something available in a format you prefer, unless they say otherwise, it is still not legal for you to make the copy yourself. And yeah, sometimes that sucks. I agree, it would be nice if everything previously available on VHS tape were now available on DVD, or streaming, or somewhere. But it's not. Would be nice means nothing. Now, technology is often used in an attempt to enforce copyright. Copy protection schemes are widespread. The example in the question, known as macrovision, is a technology used to prevent analog VHS tapes from being copied to other media. There are probably devices to circumvent it. Encryption is another technique you'll find on most DVDs and Blu-ray discs. These have copy protection using encryption. As I understand it, again, insert my I'm not a lawyer statement here again, the act of circumventing those copy protection schemes may be illegal. That's a hard one to grasp technically. Copyright and copy protection are completely unrelated. Now, if there's copy protection scheme in place, then yeah, that's a pretty good sign that the copyright owner doesn't want that material copied, and doing so is probably illegal. But the copyright owner could, for reasons I can't think of, decide otherwise. Most importantly, copyright does not require copy protection. Audio CDs, for example, are not encrypted, but they are still typically copyrighted and illegal to copy. Same goes, for example, for the ebooks I sell. They're not encrypted, but it's still illegal to make copies. Now, I was tempted to call this next section BitTorrent and copyright, but that misses the point. At its core, BitTorrent has nothing to do with copyright. Again, BitTorrent has nothing to do with copyright. BitTorrent and other peer-to-peer file sharing programs are file copying programs. Nothing more, nothing less. It's fairly nifty technology, but ultimately it's just about copying files from one place to another. Any technology used to download or copy a file can be used legally or illegally. The technology you use to download a file has no relationship to copyright. Yeah, BitTorrent is used for a lot of illegal file sharing, but BitTorrent isn't itself illegal. What's illegal is sharing copyrighted files without permission. And it's illegal no matter what technology you use to download them. The problem, if you want to call it that, is that computers have made copying digital media trivial. On top of that, broadband connections have made transferring files trivial. It's not unrealistic for many people to download a 4.7 gigabyte file, the size of a DVD. All that makes downloading copyrighted material extremely easy. Not legal, just easy. Okay, so what is copyrighted? Knowing what is and isn't copyrighted is both simple and really ugly. In the United States, at least, anything created is copyrighted immediately with no action required by the creator. They don't have to say this is copyrighted with some kind of a year for the copyright to be in place. It's in place by default. The additional statements, and even registering copyright with the U.S. Copyright Office, are simply steps that remind honest people to remain honest and make the results of any legal actions clearer and sometimes more costly to the offender. When downloading something for free, the best rule of thumb is if it's too good to be true, it's probably illegal. If the other alternative is to purchase it, your free download might be illegal. If it's a movie you could stream on Netflix or one that was in the theater last year, last month, or last week, your free download is probably illegal. If it's music on a major record label that you're seeing in music videos, hearing on the radio, available on streaming services, or created by major well-known popular artists, your free download may be illegal. If the site you're getting it from isn't a major retailer endorsed by, supported by, or related to the artist or the producer of the content, and they're making a big deal out of it being free, your download might be illegal. You can see where this is going, but here's where it gets ugly. There's a lot of stuff out there that really is free. Media shared under what's called the Creative Commons license is free with varying degrees of usage limitations. Public domain is free. Individual and independent artists often make some or all of their work available for free for a variety of reasons. One great example is I give away a free edition of my Internet Safety ebook when you subscribe to my newsletter, and you are free, encouraged even, to share copies with others. My other ebooks, not free. If you get them for free from anywhere that isn't my site, someone's ripping you off. Someone's ripping me off. Sometimes it's hard to tell, I get that, but most people already asking know the answer. It might be confusing, though most often it's not, and we might not agree with all the ramifications. I know I don't, but it is what it is. Okay, bottom line. Respect the rights of the people who produce the content you love. Pay for it if you can, and understand that as much as so many people want it to be otherwise, copying copyrighted material is theft. Now, unfortunately, I have to make a kind of a caveat here. Copyright, copy protection, and topics related can be extremely controversial. So, knowing that, I'm going to be paying attention to comments because they're going to get monitored closely. Disrespectful comments are out. Comments that boil down to copyright sucks, record companies suck, and the like will be deleted. Links to download sites will be deleted. You get the idea. On the other hand, if you've got additional insight on the topic, then absolutely, I'd love to hear it. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/4432. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.